Hi, this is Thoughts to Freedom, and my name is Kim. Thank you for joining me. Today we will discuss the sacred secretion. This is an ancient practice to enhance your spiritual connection. And so on my videos, as I always say, I help people to identify and to change their thoughts to achieve freedom, and freedom is salvation, joy, and happiness, among other positive feelings. I compare our brains to a radio and how our thoughts are like two radio channels. One is EGO15, and that is our ego, and we can access 15% of what life has to offer there. And Free 100 is the spiritual radio station, and one can access 100% of what life has to give. To further assist with maximizing on your thoughts and your life, the sacred secretion ritual, which is when the material originates from the colostrum in the brain and then joins as it descends to substances that are released from your pineal gland that is like honey, and the pituitary gland that is a milky substance, and they join and descend all the way down to your sacrum at the bottom of your spine, and it takes about 1 day. And the word sacrum is derived from the word sacred. And in the Bible, there are many references to the land of milk and honey. After reaching the sacrum, the secretion then travels all the way back up to the base of your brain. That takes about a day with the sacral pump. And this practice is helping you to be your higher self in physical form, to bring your brain and the whole body temple to a greater level of consciousness. My information about the sacred secretion, also referred to as the oil, is based off of 2 books, and one is God-Man, the Word Made Flesh, and the author George Carey published this in 1920. The other book, The God Design, is a book written by Kelly Marie Kerr, who published her work in 2019. There are many other sources that I have received information about this practice. Now, life, as many of you may well know, has 4 aspects to it: the physical, the emotional, intellectual, and the spiritual. And we will be focusing on the physical aspect with this practice, with what happens in your body, while also focusing on the intellectual aspect, the thinking part. But it actually is enhancing your spirituality and plays a part in the evolution of your emotional well-being also. All of which are actually of utmost value in your life. First off are all of the benefits you will receive from this habit. You will have abundance, as you see it here. And the oil is also called the illuminating substance, and your body is called the lamp. So throughout the ages, only a small and select few people have known how to use this life essence. The effects of the oil are carried through the blood into the structures of the tissues of the brain and other parts of the body. But before we get into the physical sequence of events for this, we will review all the good physiological results of having the oil circulating in our bodies, and why we'll practice the sacred secretion. So I've listed them here, and first is the destruction of all semblances of excessive anxiety, nervousness, irritability, greed, fear, anger, and unrest. So second is the perfection of digestion and absorption of the nutrients. Third, restore and improve eyesight and hearing and prevent decay of the teeth. Fourth, and I know a lot of you are like this, so you'll have full amount of the most enjoyable and restful sleep all night long. Also, freedom from the use of all drugs. Much less food is desired or needed, and there is no demand for stimulants. Fifth, probable destruction of cancerous and other blood diseases. Prompt and complete prevention of all kinds of self-abuse. Seventh is immunity from colds and infectious diseases. Eighth, improve youthful vigor and elimination of the difficulties of old age. And ninth is accomplishment of many things that vitality should produce. And this is a lot. So let us talk about the time frame for this, as it starts 2 days before your moon is in your sun sign. And this is every 29.5 days. This can be found on the Facebook sites, and it will give you the time, and you can request your own time zone that you live in to find your date. You start 2 days before and end 2 days after, and which is a total of 7 days for this practice. And also the last 7 days of Jesus' life is similar to the Sacred Secretion timeline. If your moon is in your sun sign on, say, April 8th at 12 noon, you will start the practice at 12 noon on April 6th, 2 days before the moon is in your sun sign. There is found from astrology charts the dates. So for these 3 days, while the moon is in your sun sign, the sacred secretion, or the oil, will remain at the base of the skull for 2.5 to 3 days. And this is like Jesus, who was dead for 2.5 to 3 days in the tomb. Then the oil ascends in the optic thalamus, to the optic thalamus for 2 days. This will activate the tissue inside the brain. It is in the optic thalamus that all the regeneration of the tissue takes place. Only 1/10 of the oil must make it to the optic thalamus. It is then regenerated. And during this whole process, you must live a healthy life. That means you are going to have clean, pure food, no fluoride in the water you drink, or brush your teeth with any type of fluoride substances, and eliminate foods that are full of chemicals or additives and harmful ingredients. It also means you will practice celibacy, as it will interfere with the flow of the oil. And this direction of the oil is downward, and your energy from sexual activity goes upward. Remember that remaining happy and avoiding harsh conflict with anger is imperative. In other words, do not listen to the ego radio station and destroy the oil. Remain compassionate and joyful to others, everyone. Forgive everyone and be a good citizen on earth. And another thing to do is to become conscious of the pathway of the oil and keep your loving heart open. Participate in the flow of the sacred secretion as best you can. This practice is like Santa Claus that goes down the chimney, the spinal column, delivering the gifts, and then ascending into the optic thalamus. The word claus from Santa Claus is from claustrum in the brain, that is part of the cerebrum, where the material starts. So this is a 7-day practice, and after about 1 year, you will at least start if not complete, a spiritual awakening. Some become enlightened, as that is actually what the goal is. So for your two thought systems of the ego and the spirit, you will now become or will be in the process of becoming one with spirit. You will then naturally start to think with your spiritual thought system. You will be tuned into Free 100 and live a fulfilling life, and you will reap all the satisfying benefits of the sacred secretion listed here that I found in many different references. There are more and more videos and information on this topic of the sacred secretion in the last few years, and you can do your research and use the sacred secretion. I've done it for about a year and realize many of the rewards. At night, I enjoy restful sleep. My anxiety level is reduced. My cravings for food is manageable. My fear level is reduced. Also, no depressive thoughts control me, and I am not enlightened, but I will continue my practice and hope to achieve that at some point. And I hope you do too. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.